Me, I am a memoir. I am a memoir. Going deep in the regular verse. To the regular. Regular.
Hello, Emily. And welcome back to me. I am a memoir.
Oh, sweet.
The Regularverse. We're so tired.
You wanted to go to the Regularverse. The Regularverse was your idea.
I have to say, as bonkers as it is, it's actually been really fun and interesting to just dig into what on earth is here.
Yeah. You know, after listening to the beautiful artistry of so many Mariah Carey albums, you go, Jesus, she's amazing.
It's comparison.
You just go,
parent contrast.
The singing, as we knew, was incredible. Her writing is great. Yeah. The production is always, there's been one or two songs, an album that we go, I don't know about that one. Yeah. As opposed to this album where it's one or two songs we go, that's okay. Yeah. The rest is like, make it stop my ears.
I was thinking earlier today, I was like, imagine if just really as we're going along, we just find one album that's this is immaculate, or there's a flying like a bird moment or something where did she just whistle register? Won't happen.
It won't,
but
happen.
It'll be funny.
I know. If it's going to happen, it'll be on an album of all Hispanic songs.
Well, there is one.
Oh, so, excellent! I'm looking forward.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Is it the Selena soundtrack? She didn't sing that either.
No, but she does have a Spanish album.
Excellent!
Point. I'm not sure when, but I'm taking it one regular at a time.
Do we have to go through the whole Regularverse?
Well, then we're not fully Milton mind,
that's right.
Darling.
You and your Milton mind.
All right, so no news, no blogs. We are just going to get through the last few bonus tracks of the Regularverse J.Lo album. And we are going to get the lowdown on the down low.
Getting the lowdown on the down low. All right, we're into bonus track territory from the album J.Lo. First up is the I'm Real Murder remix.
I mean, I'm just going to start going ching 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 now.
This was, so I've already done the chart placements of this when we, when we did the
great reception in the Regularverse.
I know. We already did the chart placements of this when I did the original version of I'm Real.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing. Anyway, this is written by Jennifer Lopez, Oliver, Rooney, Lewis, Atkins, Lorenzo, James. Everyone's had a go at this one. And produced by Irv Gotti and the Number 7.
It was S Club 7.
Yeah.
I will say, I think, because I noticed this on a different remix that isn't on this, but will be coming up. I just did the research at the same time. I dare say, because even though it's a completely different song, it's technically a remix. Yeah. So some of those credits would come from the original.
From the
legally
original.
Speaking.
Yeah. Whereas from what I know, this was just written by Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, because this was a single.
Oh, no.
There's a video.
Okay. Can't you just play the one I already did and say remix at the end?
No, you got to do it each time.
Fabnopsis. If we Fabnopsis. With some other people that showed up.
So Jen is at someone's house waiting for Ja Rule, who's playing with a basketball. Some men do push-ups. Some guys check out some girls by a fence. Then a rude man pushes a woman into a pool. No consent. Okay. While the bored lifeguard just watches and twiddles his whistle right around his finger.
Oh.
And wouldn't we all like to twiddle a whistle?
Bob Irwin reference?
No. Jen wears her best tracksuit to go and hang out with Ja Rule while some guys play basketball. Jen throws the basketball. Then she gets a straw fedora while Ja Rule gets a nice headband. Some kids eat icy poles.
But the way you said straw fedora, I'm thinking like a straw fedora, the explorer. Like she went and got a little sippy cup, like for a prima.
No. Straw fedora.
It still sounds like that in my head.
I know. Some kids eat icy poles. I'm sensing a theme with Jennifer and children and plying them with ice cream. But while they eat the icy poles, she uses a racial slur. Ja Rule gives Jen a dink on his bicycle and Jen does some more ball throwing. Mm-hmm. The end. Nothing happens.
I don't remember any of that.
There's a lot of grinding on each other and having a sleep on each other. And it looks like they look weirdly like is there sexual tension, but also they look like brother and sister. It's like a weird. It's like siblings or dating the Instagram page because it's like at some point it's like there's something between them, and other times it's like aren't they fun?
Oh yeah, they're having a good time together. Like big brother's taking little sister out for icy bowls.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird energy. I don't understand this video at all. Now, before we get into how we feel about it, we need to open the door to Mariska Hargitay.
Yeah. The Lospiracies are thick and fast.
Lospiracy, bring it all.
All right, the rumour, J.Lo ripped off Mariah Carey's song If We.
Which was a directive from Tommy Mottola.
The fact is, who the fuck knows anymore? So I've got Irv Gotti speaking in 2017. He says, so Tommy Mottola calls me at like 6 a.m. because he found out me and Rule made a record with Mariah Carey. And at the time, he hated Mariah Carey. So he was pumping Jennifer Lopez to compete, which sounds revolting. So he calls 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. He says, Irv, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to make a record with J.Lo, but I want you to put Ja Rule on it and make it a duet-y record. Irv then alludes to knowing that this must be because Tommy knows that they just did a similar thing with Mariah, being If We. And Irv says he wants creative control. He doesn't want to be told what to do, blah, blah, blah. And Tommy said, I don't give a fuck what you do as long as it's a duet with Ja. And this is where it's a little bit dicey for me with the Irv Gotti. Tommy's clearly got it out for Mariah, obviously. We're not denying any of this.
No.
He calls Irv Gotti, says this.
Yeah.
Now, Irv is aware of what's going on.
Yes.
He could go to Ja Rule and say, look, Tommy wants us to do a song with you and J.Lo, but let's do Mariah a solid and let's not write the same fucking song. He could have done that. Ja Rule also could have said, you know what, I'm going to use my skills to do what Tommy wants, but not fuck over Mariah.
Yeah.
Did they do that? No, they just did the same song.
Yeah.
So this is where it's kind of like, technically J.Lo is ripping her off, but the common denominator in a lot of this is the men, number one.
Always.
But it's like, I understand there may be a little bit of fear around Tommy.
Yeah.
I get it.
Definitely.
But it also just feels like, didn't someone, like, I honestly just feel like Mariah should be as mad at everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, like be mad at all of them.
Yeah.
And I think Irv has kind of weaseled his way out because he went public about it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't actually take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's like, ugh.
Well, I will, you know what I'll say is I feel like Ja Rule's vocals are such a kind of prominent thing that J.Lo not being able to sing and compete with him kind of suits it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with If We, it's kind of competitive and it feels like they're clashing with each other somewhat.
Sure.
Because they both have such distinctive voices.
Yeah.
And
But it did make me wonder, is he not particularly versatile?
I don't think he is.
And that's the thing, because surely, like, if they know what's going on, even if you try to please the boss, you can still find a way to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Like, I remember Mariah's vocals from If We. Like, that's when I hear that title of that song, I hear her soaring, her really high kind of soprano register. When I think of this song, I think of Ja Rule.
Yeah, sure.
I don't even remember that she comes in vaguely with 2 words from her other song that aren't even sung in the same tune.
There's more. So, second rumour, J.Lo stole the song from Ashanti. This is false. There is some truth to it, but it is false.
Oh, so there's some truth to it. That's enough. Go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Send her to jail. Send her to regular jail.
I think what happens is people confuse it with another song, which will come on the next album. Ashanti did not write this song.
No. This is pretty much just Ja Rule.
This is Ja Rule. And the quote is, Ja wrote I'm Real. I wrote Ain't It Funny, which is the remix of Ain't It Funny, which will come later. This is from Ja Rule. I wrote I'm Real for Jennifer Lopez, and I sung the original version of it as a reference. But I sound terrible, of course, on the reference, he says. Mm-hmm. So Ashanti then sang the reference for Jennifer Lopez, and when they mixed it down, Irv left some of the vocals underneath.
Oh.
So I'm sorry, I think I've mixed some of this up with a little bit of the next rumor, which is J.Lo is lip syncing to Ashanti's vocals on the chorus, and or J.Lo isn't on the chorus at all.
Right.
But I'll keep going on this one. So this is from Irv in 2019. Ashanti was a background vocalist. That's it, period. Don't make a big thing out of it. Yes, it was her voice, but do you know how many songs have background vocals? I'm just going to preface all of that, but well, not preface, but after us. Is that a word? Afterface.
That's an epilogue.
There is,
preface and
prelude. There's a little bit of uncertainty around like Irv claiming he dated Ashanti. She says otherwise.
Right.
There's a bit of bad blood. So I'm not 100% that Irv is a credible witness on some of it. But this is from Ashanti. It was bittersweet because I was really excited because it was J.Lo, but I was mad at Irv because I was like, I wanted that record, which this quote is often used to prove, quote unquote, that J.Lo stole the song from Ashanti. But the issue is this song was specifically commissioned for J.Lo.
Yes.
So my thinking is perhaps Ashanti's come in, done the BVs, go, I like this vibe. Yeah. Can I have it? And they're like, it's for J.Lo or whatever. Maybe she added some things that, I don't know. But then later, when it came to the ghost singing accusations, this is in 2002, so just when the song came out, Ashanti said, I referenced the record for her, which is done a lot in the music industry, and they left my background vocals on there. I'm not the ghost voice of J.Lo. Then in 2014, she says, I demoed the record for her. That was way, way back. That's before I was signed to Murder Inc. And they kept my hook and some of the background ad-libs and stuff like that. This is where things started to come together when we got those stems.
Yes.
Now, I said off air, I went into that thinking it would be really damning. Like, I was like, this is going to be real bad. Because based on everything I'd heard, based on everything I'd seen, I was like, that is Ashanti on that chorus. Yeah. And it is, but it's also not.
Right.
Because when we got to hear the actual vocals, she's on there. J.Lo is on there.
Yeah.
And again, they've done the cushioning thing, but I think in particular why this song sounds more Ashanti than it is because J.Lo is copying Ashanti. Yeah. She's mimicking her.
And it's when you hear improvisational notes, which generally is the lead singer doing it. If you're letting the background vocalist have an improv moment, then it's going to sound like that's not you singing because it's not you singing.
But were you as surprised as I was that it wasn't as bad as,
Again, I didn't really know this song.
Sure.
Like this fell through my cracks of not listening to much music. Also I was probably deep in the Glitter album and loving it and was back in the 80s and I wanted nothing to do with any of this.
What, 2000 what?
2000 and when? But yeah, I wasn't surprised that J.Lo turned up, but I was surprised that there was, tracks labelled as someone who's been accused of having sung lead vocals and way more of them. Yeah. Like she sang lots of vocals.
Well, because she was doing harmony and the underneath and
yeah. So instead of having lots of background vocalists, like she's pretty much done a Mariah singing all of the background vocals, harmonizing with herself. And then J.Lo's turned up for about 12 minutes on a Thursday to sing one take and they've gone, we'll just shove that in where it belongs.
And I think the mimicking, which we've kind of established she can seem to do where she's heard it.
Well, she's an actor.
Yeah. I think that's where I really was because I was more thinking, it's going to be none of her at all. Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised to hear that she was in there. But something else that came out in it was the original lyric when J.Lo says, what's the deal with you and so-and-so? The original lyric when Ja sings it is what's the deal with you and Didio?
Oh.
And she's obviously, that's ended and she's gone, I'm just going to change that to so-and-so, which actually I thought sounds better anyway. Yeah. Because that was the narrative at the time. Yeah. Of like, who's she with now? Yes. So funnily enough, I think that worked. But there is, for anyone who wants to hear it, this is on YouTube. There's also a version that someone has bounced out without Ashanti, and more or less it sounds the same.
Yeah.
It's, I think because her vocal is quite whispery and cloudy, as in a nice way.
Yeah.
It's quite broad, so it really fills out more than it actually is, if that makes sense. So when you take it away, it's not as jarring as you'd think.
Yeah.
Jar ruling, if you will.
I think it's weird though, like to get someone in as a guide vocal for, like, if you're going to get someone in to do guide vocals for someone, don't get someone with a distinctive voice or a distinctive style.
This is the thing. So prior, like this is before Ashanti was signed.
Yeah, I know.
And I wonder if some of these things came around like, oh, we'll sign you, but we need you to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And, we'll just test you out. And if you do that, so we don't know. As I went on and with the other song, Ain't It Funny, which we'll touch more on in the next Regularverse one, but I think there was a lot of problems at Murder Inc.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of these, like, there's the problems that we know were caused by Tommy and possibly J.Lo. But I think there are problems.
Oh, yeah, I think Irv is also problematic.
Yeah. But the other rumor is that J.Lo didn't give Ashanti credit for the background vocals, which is false.
Right.
Because I couldn't find the artwork or credits for the J.Lo album reissue because this was on the reissue.
Yes.
But I did find a release from before that reissue on a single.
Yeah.
And after on the remix album. And they both have Ashanti Douglas credited. Some didn't have the full credits. One did have Ashanti Douglas appears courtesy of Murder Inc. So it was on there. She got paid.
Yeah.
Like it's, not too crazy. But that Christina Milian thing comes up where this was 6 months before the release of Always on Time, which was Ashanti's first single with Ja Rule. So, I do wonder if this was a test. And you passed and we'll put you out. But I think
And she became so synonymous with performing with Ja Rule.
Totally, because I had 3 or 4 songs after this. I remember thinking, is that J.Lo?
It's understandable to go, oh, maybe that first one wasn't J.Lo. Because they've done so many that sound similar.
Yeah. And had Ashanti not gotten her record deal, no one, I mean, they might know a little bit, but they
and maybe
know.
they probably did really well together. Like, maybe that's why they work well together, because, like, their voices do sync quite well.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And there's a little bit more on how Ashanti feels in the next episode.
Not the next episode, in the next Regularverse
episode.
Let's not go back here in a hurry. I'm having trouble here in the regular.
But I think this was the thing that was just interesting to find out and figure out. Because I think Ashanti's the one that's brought up the most.
Yeah.
But I think more than anyone, it's Christina Milian who's been gypped on this album. And people sort of saying, it's every song. I'm like, it's not every song, but the ones, let's talk about the ones that were.
Yeah.
But the final controversy around this song is the use of a certain slur.
Yes. The N-word.
The N-word. Now, to clarify, it's rumored she says it twice. She doesn't. She says it once.
Yes.
The next line...
There's no mistaking it.
No, there's no mistaking it. But I think it sounds like she repeats herself, but the next line is actually mind they biz.
Yes.
But because of the singing, like the way it's sort of talk rappy sounding, it sounds like she's saying it again.
Yeah.
Which she isn't. We're clearly not the people to be talking about this overall.
No.
All I can say is I wouldn't have said it.
No.
That's what I can say on it.
I don't know. I feel like whatever background you come from, like if a lesbian wanted to call me the F word, I'd probably have some problems with it.
Yeah.
Even though we're both queer.
Yeah.
But I would probably... But if you drop the F word to me, I'd be like, yeah, you too.
Yes, yeah.
Not that I'm going to use it here now, because it is a very, very upsetting word to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, did I ever tell you about the time I was on Studio 10?
Oh, God.
Oh, wait, here's a.
What did Angela Bishop do?
It wasn't Angela. It was it was Jessica Rowe. Basically, I think the producers hadn't done their due diligence. I was doing a show called #FGT. Because people had been using that online instead of the F word to get around those censorship kind of, filters. And I'd seen it happening a lot and it was really upsetting me. And so I wanted to do a show about, you know, what you can and can't say, what, you know, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. Anyway, I'm on Studio 10. I was promoting this show and Jessica's gone, so Adam, tell me, what does hashtag FGT mean? So and I just went, it's a homophobic slur. She's going, oh. And like, it was just, and because with the way Studio 10 is set up, like you don't get paid to co-host, but you get like a full advertorial slot basically.
Oh, okay.
So that's your pay is like
Sure.
those advertorial slots cost a couple of grand. So, you know, you're just there flogging your thing that you want to flog and talk about whatever you, so they weren't allowed to just jump out of that interview.
Right,
it's like,
legally
I've been
speaking.
co-hosting the rest of the show.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, they could have, but then I probably would have sent them an invoice. But yeah, it was a moment. So yeah, that word is loaded and it's hard work. So the word that she's using,
The image I have in my head, have you ever seen White Chicks?
Yes.
The scene in the car where we're all friends and no one's around gives me a little bit of that vibes, which doesn't justify it for the record.
No.
I do have a couple of quotes from both J.Lo and Jar because there was some backlash.
Of course.
Let's also keep in mind, though, this still went to number one.
I know.
The outrage can't have been that big. Like, it can't have been, you know what I mean? Like, like there was a lot of people accepting this, which maybe made them think it was fine. I don't know.
But then maybe no one would have known she'd done it.
Oh, I remember it.
No, if it hadn't gone to number one.
Yeah,
like,
true.
This could have just slipped under the radar.
So J.Lo said, I don't know if this was, I think it was at a concert, but I could be wrong. For anyone to think or suggest that I'm racist is absurd and hateful to me. The use of the word in the song was actually written by Ja Rule. It was not meant to be hurtful to anybody. And Ja added, I think it's silly. I think the whole thing, like everything else, is being blown out of proportion, adding that J.Lo was not the first Latino artist to use the word in a song and that it had not been an issue previously. Now, I couldn't find any information about other artists who'd used it. And again, there's a little bit of like, soul's not my fault. It's just a little bit, again, I think in situations like this, it's just better to not say it.
Let's jump forward now to 2022. And a few weeks ago when we were doing the Prolo moments, we learned that Jennifer Lopez got married in an antebellum mansion, former plantation, got married to a man whose family have a history of slave ownership. And I think maybe she's a bit more problematic than she is claiming not to be. So this is something she maybe needs to think about for the future. That house, like there's a whole movement in the US at the moment because a lot of those kind of old houses are used as wedding venues and, you know, people want to have that big kind of wedding and they're having to change the language about these houses because of what they symbolize and what they represent. And a lot of people are not getting married in these places because they don't want to be seen to be endorsing that lifestyle and celebrating, you know, that horrific culture. And she is not doing that. She is celebrating that horrific culture by going, this is the beautiful place where I got married.
So is there a consensus on how to move forward in it? Is it demolish the houses? Is it donate the land?
I don't know, but I think, you know, I certainly think celebrating the most important day of your life in those surrounds, in one of those places is perpetuating a myth about what it was like in those days. And kind of reinforcing that level of racism, that kind of, you know, one type of person is better than another. And I think it's highly inappropriate. I don't think you need to go, you know, we need to remember that it happened. Like by getting rid of them all means we don't acknowledge that this was a thing that happened, but also, you know, not acknowledging what these places mean and what their history is and just turning them into a beautiful place because aesthetically they are stunning. Like, you know, they're beautiful buildings without thinking of the repercussions and the symbolism of them. But I just think for someone that likes to, you know, say, oh, I don't want anyone to think I'm a racist. However, here's the N-word. I don't want anyone to think I'm a racist. However, here I am getting married in this testament to slavery. And look, I know it's 20 years ago now.
Yeah. It was still not okay.
But it was not a different time.
No. Like there were some things we can look at now and go, oh, that was then, this is now.
Yeah.
I don't think this was okay at the time.
Yeah. And look, I've said plenty of horrific things, you know, in podcasts and in stand-up and, you know, and I'm horrified by it now. But the stance of, oh, I can't believe anyone would think I was racist, rather than going, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
That is, I don't like that as a stance. Yeah. I would rather someone go, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was going to upset people.
Yeah.
I have done the wrong thing. Yeah. But, you know, her stance is very much, nah, mate. It's, I'm not racist, but.
Yeah, no, I can say that.
And yeah, I think the Regularverse is a dark place.
Well, from what I understand, the word wasn't used ever again.
Right. She didn't sing it live?
I don't think so.
No.
A lot of the Super Bowl, they sang Ain't It Funny.
Yeah.
I don't recall this song at the live show.
Ever making a reappearance.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But certainly not in another song.
Yeah.
There's a lot of verses on this song. They probably just cut it out.
Yeah. So after all of the controversy,
yeah,
how do we feel about the song?
For those reasons and sort of the same reasoning behind the original I'm Real, I just think it's easier to pretend this song doesn't exist. If you like this sound,
yes,
either listen to Ain't It Funny with the same people or go and listen to If We.
If We is a great song.
This isn't a bad song. I think it's just got too many marks against it.
Yeah.
To, again, bother defending it, I suppose. Yeah. It's like, you know what? Some things are okay to just let them go.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Listening to it, I was like, sure, it's catchy or whatever. But yeah. What's Love, Fat Joe and Ashanti is just as catchy.
Yeah. I think I said I don't know how this is a remix because it is a completely different song.
Yeah, I know.
It is bizarre. They barely even use a sample of the other one.
Yeah.
Apart from the title.
Yeah.
When she says it. It's a Ja Rule song. Jen is grinding on him physically, vocally, and metaphorically. And like I said about the other duet, I think she's really suited to a collaboration. Like I think her voice is not overpowering, so it really does complement other people. And you know, and then the people who are trying to help lift up her thin vocals are getting credit. Yeah. She does a collab. And yeah, again, we've talked about it a lot, but 2001 was a different time. But it's even more off-putting now, the N-word, than it probably was even then.
Yeah.
Nice enough R&B pop song. Ja Rule is doing all the heavy lifting.
And I mean, also, when we talk about that time, people didn't know as much about people's culture. Most people thought Mariah was white.
Yes.
You know, these things weren't talked about. So I think it was sort of out of sight, out of mind. Like, I don't know. So everyone just threw their hands up and was like, yeah, whatever. Whereas I think now we're much more aware, much more accountable to these things. And one of the biggest things that I think, one of the biggest criticisms, which I share as well, is if J.Lo came out and talked about things like you said. And I think there would be an element of people going, well, we respect that.
Yeah.
At the same time, I see why she does it because it's just a mountain. And it's like, you know what? I want to keep my shit. Yeah. So I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah, but that's just sitting on a fence.
Yeah, pretty much. On the Fence. It was the name of her first album.
On the fence. So, I'm Real. What percentage of the song do you think she's saying?
Look, I wrote low. It's probably about 40%. We know she's in there.
Yeah.
Now, like, we have the proof. She is in there.
Yeah.
But obviously, he sang half of it.
Yeah.
And then Ashanti's come into cushion quite a bit.
Yeah, I've got mid to low.
Yeah.
And a pro low or no low?
Look, for the reasons we've talked about, I've just gone straight to bin.
Yeah.
No low. Thanks. There's other songs like it.
No low for racism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, if Ja Rule was saying it, I'd be like, well, that's your choice.
Yes. I mean, he does say it throughout the song, but that can't be used to bolster or like her saying it. Because
and this is my thing when it comes to like, did she steal Mariah's sample? Did she participate in stealing Christina Milian's song. Like, you know, when all of that kind of comes up, I'm like, she had a choice to not sing that.
Yeah.
Like, she had a choice to go, I don't think it's appropriate.
And that's why it's like, that's the question I want to ask you. I was like, at what point did you find this out? Was it too late? Like, the first time it happened, maybe it was too late.
Yeah.
What about the second time?
Equally,
you know?
How much were you saying that word that you felt fine singing that?
Well, that too. And
that was not a problem for you.
And what do you think about it now? Do you know what I mean? Like, who knows? Maybe she'll write a book one day. Well, someone else will write a book and she'll put a face on it. And then we'll do a podcast on it.
Her book will be a picture book. All in the
big
bath
book
with
of
her.
butts.
Big book of butts. Page 1, my butt.
And then she turns it with her butt.
Oh dear. Well, should we move on to another bonus?
We shall. There's less controversy, thankfully.
I don't know.
She only says the N word 8 times in the next song, so and the F word 17.
We're gonna be here for days. Our next track is "I'm Waiting," which once again has resurrected Sean P Diddy Puffy Daddy People Eater Coombs, Yellow Man Weenans, Jack Knight.
I just realised Jack Knight is I mean, I assume it's the same person, Jack Knight and Dakota House from Monifa. Touch it, such a good song.
Macaulay Jamison and Jones is back again. Produced by Yellow Man and
produced is a generous term.
Blue Diddy. How do we feel about "I'm Waiting"?
So I didn't find the song. You messaged me and said, this other bonus track.
This other bonus track was on this version of the album.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, sure.
I know, I did my regular search.
You did. Because the way that I did it, I had to go through and do all the albums at once because there's so many remixes and stuff. I had to figure out where things live.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised I missed something. But subconsciously, I probably missed this on purpose. So I wrote, "Am I on acid?"
Oh, no.
The production of this is capitals, too much, and it is the cheapest version of too much.
Yes.
Like I said, the track itself will be perfectly fine as a middle of the road R&B track, but the production is just like absolutely not. You will be revolting. Yeah. And I said it's unlistenable.
Unlistenable.
Yeah.
I said this frantic production is too much. And she's doing that sound again. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes. Stop saying yes, J.Lo. You don't say yes ever in your life. And she's panting like a dog, which didn't work for Celine Dion and the Divas concert, and it's not doing regular Jen any favours. I feel like the frenetic punk production is to distract us from what a boring song this is.
But that's the thing. I kind of thought there was enough in there. I was like, again, basic album track with an R&B, cool filler track. Great. Yeah. But they've just... like maybe they've tried to do that to elevate it and they've just like stabbed it in the back 48 times.
I don't know what was going on with
this. Is P. Diddy.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah. All of his songs on this album are terrible.
Okay.
Like quantifiably terrible.
Yeah.
Like none of these are honey.
Do you think he's worse than she is on this?
None of these are honey.
No. Do you think that he's worse on this than she is?
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe he just doesn't have anything to work with.
Still, he should be able to do something as a producer.
Like he's produced some great songs.
This track, as in the instrumental, has nothing to do with her.
No, I know.
Like, so really he should have known better.
Yeah, but maybe he's one of those producers that once he hears the vocal, he's like, I'm stripping everything out and putting a whole bunch of new shit in.
True.
Like, that vocal is like needs to be protected.
He just kept GarageBand open and pressed
and he's got like, he's heard her singing and gone, yeah, drown her out.
But what's weird is, I mean, he dated her.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
Like, you can date people and not respect them.
You can?
I love you and I think you're really, really a beautiful person. I think you're talentless, but I'm still happy to put my thing in you.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened.
Like once you worked with Mariah and then you like, even though he's dating her, he must be in the studio going, my girlfriend can't sing.
But see, I think maybe that's the difference. I
don't think
I could date someone who
him producing this album, Terrence Howard producing.
Oh my god,
Padma Lakshmi.
He's got a pash.
Glitter.
What's his name?
Yeah,
what was his name?
Max Beasley.
Yeah, he's got a pash Max Beasley.
Like
that's what's happened. He's in love with Max. Puff Daddy is in love with Max Beasley.
Yep,
and we've solved it.
Yeah, this album is the Silk album from Glitter.
This makes me actually love it.
Ashanti is Mariah.
Yes. Christina Milian as well.
Yes, everyone's Mariah. Turn her all the way up. Turn Silk all the way down. This is Silk.
This is how the Regularverse meets Mariah's world.
Yes.
It's that it's glitter.
Yeah.
This
is glitter.
Here for it.
This album is glitter.
Yeah.
P. Diddy, Terrence Howard. We've solved it. We know everything. So I'm Real. What percentage did you give her vocals?
I wrote 50%.
Yeah.
I said it's hard to tell with all the noise.
I said mid-low. And I'm presuming you are a no-low.
Oh, this is an absolutely not.
Absolute no.
Absolutely not. For no one should ever sing this song.
Oh, I honestly think because you dropped it off the list, that there was a subconscious part of you was like, I never want to have to listen to that again. And I'm going to trick Adam into thinking it doesn't exist.
I hadn't listened to anything. That's the thing when I wrote the list. I think I've just missed it.
You must have heard it at some point in your life.
Or maybe I thought I'd already written it.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I wouldn't have, because this was a bonus track, wasn't it? Yeah, no, I wouldn't have heard this. No. Unless, as a child. And I was and I just can't see it on a list.
I'm sorry to make you relive your childhood trauma of listening to I'm Waiting. I'm waiting for the song to end.
Yeah.
All right. Our last bonus track, and our last little delve here into the Regularverse.
Can we make it? Never let go.
The aptly titled Can't Believe. Can't believe we've been through these many tracks.
It was a hidden track on the album, which, fair enough.
And also hidden on a couple of singles, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It was, they really tried to hide it.
I just wrote that I think this is a B-side at best.
Oh,
lyrically basic. The one thing that I didn't mind was that the lyrics, even though I don't think she wrote it, did somehow reflect her situation, her life.
Yeah.
There were things that came across that could have been personal to her, and I was like, maybe that's why they hit it. It's looking in for J.Lo. She's like, I just really get that song.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hide it as a special bonus. I don't, maybe.
Well, I couldn't find any production credits for it anywhere. I said, is this a different song to anything else on the album?
Especially that middle stretch.
Oh, I think the only thing that distinguishes it is her voice sounds untreated and really pitchy.
Regular.
Like really pitchy. Like this is the pitchiest.
Too much on this one, but I've forgotten it.
Oh my God. This is shit. I would have hidden this somewhere. Nobody could find it.
It's Regularverse. That's why it's here.
Yeah, but we found it. Like this needs to be put somewhere that...
Oh my God, imagine the songs we don't hear.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I'm going to suggest they don't exist.
We just got everything.
I think when she turns up, they have to do something with it because it's like, I've sung that one, you have to put it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
spent 5.5 minutes.
I spent at least 7 minutes. Like I could have been wearing a dress somewhere.
Yeah, I could have been showing my butt.
Yeah, I could have been showing my butt to someone. So what percentage is I'm Real?
I wrote 50% mid-low.
Yeah, that's so pitchy. I said high.
It's 100%. I think I thought there were some other people on there here and there, but
trying to help, but she was not listening. And what score did you give this? A pro low or a no low?
This is a no low.
Yeah, this is such a no low.
Sorry,
this is such a very low.
Secretly, and then can't believe. No, I think it's I'm Waiting, and then secretly, like they're pashing.
Oh,
they're bringing each other
I'm Waiting
in the depths of hell.
No, there are so many on there here I hated. Remember...
Well, a couple of your no's I was in awe on.
Oh,
but
remember That's the Way?
No, that's the problem.
Secretly, That's Not Me. Oh, whiny. So many whiny songs. Anyway, this has been a horrible, horrible experience. I'm glad we've come to the end.
I think you secretly love it.
I do love it because it makes me realise how much artistry goes into a Mariah Carey
And I also
album.
think it makes people realise I'm maybe not as pro-low as they thought.
It's the only reason you wanted to do this, you pro-low piece of shit.
No, because I seriously have not listened to these albums. There's one that I've definitely listened to.
Yeah.
And the rest, it's pretty much the singles.
Yeah. She can't act her way out of this album.
No, what I'm hoping for at the end of this journey is to have one playlist of 20 songs out of 375.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get that many.
To. We'll see. All right. So what about, this is you, overall thoughts. I went back to hosting. Even
I know, I love
hosting.
it. So what are your overall thoughts about J.Lo?
She must have dropped the dot at some stage. It's on the first listen, I felt, take I'm Real out. I felt the first half started pretty strong.
Yeah.
And then it just fell.
Yeah.
And my initial listen, I thought it fell and kept falling. My second listen, there was a couple of the more Spanish songs sort of towards the end that I was like, actually, I don't mind this.
Yeah.
It's just that they're all in between a bunch of crap. I kind of feel like it's probably more cohesive than On the Six, but it suffers from a lot of the same problems.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, they've gone, let's not do any ballads. Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I kind of feel like there's nothing quite as, I mean, those bonus tracks maybe, and maybe secretly, but there's nothing quite as, overall, I don't think the album tracks on here are as bad as the lows on the Six.
Yeah.
But that did have bigger hits.
Yeah.
I think the hits on the album were bigger. I mean, obviously, I'm Real was a big hit, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think when I first listened, I was like, oh, I might like this. But then I've kind of ended up in the exact same spot as I did with On the Six. It's just a slightly different order of the tracks. I appreciate that they tried different things. I just think they tried too much. I think, like we said, with the 4 or 5 singles that aren't problematic, and 3 or 4 of the Spanish songs, that's almost a decent album.
Yeah.
2 tracks extra. You could deal with 2 filler tracks.
Yeah.
But they've just done like 10 filler tracks.
Oh my God, so many.
and it's like
so many terrible P. Diddy pieces of shit. That's
what's probably the biggest surprise here.
Yeah.
Is
how bad they are.
How bad they are. Because he's good, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I thought.
Well,
maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's very regular.
Maybe he's terrible.
Maybe.
And maybe
it was just Mariah that was great.
Mariah made Honey good.
What about you?
It's awful. Like, there are not enough high points for you to want to ever listen to this album.
Just listen to those handful of high points somewhere else.
Even those feel tarnished by all the shit that they're surrounded. Like, they've got
I could get on board with them. I could get on board with Ain't It Funny, the original, and play as, I know she's not on it, but as a song.
Yeah. And maybe Love Don't Cost a Thing.
If it's on the radio.
Yeah.
If that's the one that we need to get it to a 10, 12 track album, great.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's so much, there's so many terrible songs. And So do you have a favourite?
I think Ain't It Funny.
Ain't It Funny?
Yeah. I felt like she showed up. The production was good. I felt like the backing singers were meant to be backing singers, as in it felt like similar to Let's Get Loud, where they're actually riffing on each other. The video was cute. Hot guy, great. I wanted to say Ain't It Funny, but it does go for a minute too long. Sure.
Which is why I think I'm going to go with Dame.
Yeah.
Because it's got a dance break in it.
Yeah.
That breaks it up.
Yeah.
It's a bit of her not singing. Also, there's a man singing who's not her.
And it wasn't produced by Diddy, I don't think.
Well, no, it was, was that a Rodney Jerkins? Yeah, that was a Dark Child.
Yeah.
I think that's my favourite.
Yeah.
I like Play, but again...
It's got some taint on it. It's got a little bit of,
It feels like it's not her song.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, I know none of these are her songs. But yeah, it just feels like Dame feels like the most... And also, I love a Spanish song. Like, I think her voice is better. So that's going to be my favourite. And what's your least favourite? Actually, we don't have to have a least favourite in the Regularverse. What's the worst piece of shit on this album?
on the album, it's Secretly. On the bonus tracks, is I'm Waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think anyone can argue.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah. Secretly is pretty awful. And... what's that other terrible slow jam? Oh, Come Over is also bad.
I thought it was as bad as you did.
I think Secretly, because there's nothing helping her.
No, exactly.
It's really
nothing to grab onto.
Yeah,
You're just there.
And also she's whispering and talking at the same time. I mean, whispering and singing, and it's like, Just pick one. Or whisper in between the singing.
Yeah.
I
think she heard that you liked the whispering, so she's like, I want to put it everywhere.
Well, it was good, but then it was its own thing.
Yes.
And now it's trying to join in with the singing and it's not helping. No change there. So that's the one I hated. I mean, I hated a lot of it. And look, we hate the racists.
Absolutely, yes. That's without a doubt.
So what are you going to give what score are you giving it overall?
I've pretty much given it the same that I gave on the 6. I think I gave that a whiff of Prolo, where it's like if I saw you at a party, I'd say hi. This one I gave this a sniff of Prolo.
Right.
Because I feel like it's that person that you run into and you've had sex with them, but you don't want anyone to know you had sex.
Oh, yes.
And you mostly
see them at the Midsummer Carnival.
Yeah. But you mostly hated it.
Yeah.
But there was like 1 or 2 times you're like, that time was pretty good, actually. So I think for the songs that I enjoyed, like I think the split was 9 Prolos, but like 3 or 4 of them were liked.
Yeah.
There was 7 definite no-los and 3 awes. So it's, again, in that wishy-washy, slightly 50%. I think I could make a decent 10-track, 12-track album out of the 2 albums.
Yeah.
And then I'd like that album.
Yeah, I reckon there's maybe 4 songs or 5 songs I think I could,
yes,
but I think I would get sick of if I listened to them again.
I think the problem with this one versus on the 6 is on the 6 was shorter. So the percentage of songs we liked seemed bigger.
Yes.
We've probably liked about the same amount of songs on here.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so many
terrible ones. Yeah, I think there's too much Diddy on this. I'm going no low or.
Okay.
Like I'm on the cusp of awe, which is not a good place to be.
No.
Like it's not awe pro.
No.
It's low awe.
And this is the thing, like when I say a sniff of Prolo, I'm not saying I'm in Prolo. It's more that I can smell it from awe.
Yeah.
If that makes, I can smell Prolo from awe.
Yeah.
But I can also see Nolo right there.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like, my hope is in all of this that there will be something that either you or I or both go, you know what, this was all right.
I don't think that's.
I don't think we're gonna be firmly Prolo for a whole album.
No.
But there might be one where we're like, you know what,
we'll be like enough of it. It'll probably be the Spanish.
Like we dated for 3 months.
She could be saying horrific racial slurs in Spanish, and we have no idea.
I love this one. No, I don't think it'll be a case of like Prolo, like love it so much, want to marry it. I think it'll be more like Prolo. It was fun for 3 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Right. So that's our trip to the Regularverse.
Well, we have to rename it. Did you?
Oh, that's right.
Did you forget to rename it? You can just use my rename as well.
What did you rename it?
So I renamed it. So it was J.Lo, obviously.
Yes.
I renamed it J-High-Low because there are highs and there are lows. Lows and lows. So maybe it's J-High-Low, low, low.
I'm going to rename it P.OO. Because P Diddy Daddy Doo had so much to do with how terrible it was. So he gets the P instead of her J.
Yes.
And the dot because that's in the J-Lo.
Yeah.
And instead of the L-O is O-O. So it spells poo.
Interesting. I can see now that you've explained it.
Yeah.
I see. Because for a minute I was like, that just doesn't make any sense.
No, you need to have it explained. P-U.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it spells poo.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because it's shit.
I didn't even, I wasn't looking at you, but I could see your face when you said that. Okay.
I forgot how to host the albums and you forgot how to host the rest of the episode.
How to do anything.
We're bad at the regular.
Have we dug out? Have we dug out of the regular anus?
Well, yeah, hang on, I'll get my shovel.
Okay. It's covered in P.oo.
Get the fuck out of our podcast.
Get the fuck
Get the fuck out of our podcast.
Get the fuck out.
Just walk away.
Walk away.
You tacky regular bitch. Get the fuck right out of my face.
All right, we're on the other side now. We're out of the Regularverse. It smells funny though. I'm covered in something. P, I think. .oo.
It's like your email address in high school. P.oo.
P.oo. What are we going to do for ourselves next week?
We are recovering because we're going to have some Lamley-led Mariah album lists.
Oh, excellent.
To go through. So we're going to be able to see how do people feel about the way we ranked, how have they ranked, because I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a whole mixed bag.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be interesting and fun. So
it'll be interesting to see like where people are in the age spectrum of how they feel about
we can be ageist about it. Great.
No. No, I just meant like depending what songs have really latched on to your youth and gone,
when they
this
got
is my number one.
Yeah, for sure. And then beyond that, we are going to have an extra stay out of the Regularverse.
Oh, please.
With some Mariah remixes.
The remixes. Oh, my God. I can't wait to force them down to your throat.
My God.
Like Bob Irwin wrestling an alligator.
God, I wonder if there are any 18-year-old remixes I can fuck.
Bob Irwin, he's a child.
You brought him up. And he's not, to be clear.
He's 18.
He's a man now after I got to him. All of this seems very regular. It's rubbed off on us.
I feel it's been too long.
Is he one of our backup dancers? Is that how this happened?
Yeah. By the way, he's not that great a dancer. Like watching those videos, Chris Judd.
I didn't even notice he was in Ain't It Funny. I saw him in the others. Didn't notice him in
turns
that one.
up. He's just standing
because there was another very attractive man who's problematic as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's P.oo.
P.oo.
So yeah, I think at this like still send us your Mariah list. But hopefully you've already sent them just in case I've already done all the work on it.
Yeah.
But maybe.
Yeah. You've still got time.
You've got like a day.
We can do like 2 or 3 weeks of lists.
That is too many weeks of me listing. That's just me counting backwards from 15 a lot.
A lot. I love it.
I don't want to do that.
Well, it means we don't have to go back to the Regularverse.
No, but we will have your remixes, so don't forget.
I'm happy to spend as long out of the Regularverse as I possibly can.
Well, based on the remixes lengths, we're going to be there for a while.
You can't talk about it for 12 minutes. Just listen to it.
We can. We can talk about it for 24 hours. We won't even stop to have a P.oo.
I've done that in this podcast before.
Oh, God.
I wear an adult nappy.
That's actually one of the titles of the songs on the next album.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye, Emily.